Open up your books to page, hang on, I didn't want to do that. To page 21. And the reason I am doing this with you is because I think I started doing that last year. The thing is that for whatever reason, this particular student work is really difficult for people to understand. So if we do it together, then we know we've got all the right answers. And this is about geography and politics and things like that. So it's not going to be looking at Bible verses as much. So on page 21, it says the geographic and political situation at the time of Christ's ministry. So we're gonna get a picture of, and we'll watch a video on this as well. I want you to kind of get a picture of Christ's time and his ministry and how that was conducted, and what the topography and the geography were, to kind of get a picture in your brain. If God allowed me to go anywhere in the world, I would ask to go to Israel. I'd really like to have a Mediterranean cruise after that, but I can't even afford to go to Israel. So, but I would love to go there and see the places where Christ was. This is about as good as it's going to get for me and for you, to kind of get an understanding of the place where Jesus lived. So, whenever some students see the word geography, they cringe, thinking that the subject is boring and impractical. In reality, geography is important for one to understand events of the history, especially events at in the time of Christ during his earthly ministry. But gaining an understanding of geography can actually be fun too. I'm going to get this closer so that I can keep doing this so it thinks it's not going to die. Consider, for example, the following interesting facts about one geographic feature in Palestine, that is in Israel, the Dead Sea. Everybody heard of the Dead Sea? Everybody know about the Dead Sea? Okay, so if a canal were cut to the Mediterranean Sea, so this is west to east, from the Dead Sea, the ocean would run in instead of the Dead Sea running out. It receives more than 6 million tons of water daily from the Jordan River and other smaller rivers. After a very rainy season, it will be 15 feet deeper and a mile longer than usual. Evaporation is so great that at times it creates dense clouds. The water is nauseous to the taste and oily to the touch, leaving upon the skin when it dries a thick crust of salt. Its buoyance, so the ability to float, is so great that it is difficult to sink the limbs deep enough for swimming. The Gospels are filled with references to other similarly interesting places, all of them connected in some way with the ministry of Christ. A thorough understanding of the land of Palestine will help one to understand the life and ministry of Christ on earth. Its distinct geographic features and political realities of the time provide the background of Jesus' life. Visualizing and tracing his ministry through the land enhances our appreciation for what Christ did for us. Refer to each of the maps in the appendix as you progress through this study of the book of John. So we're going to use this cross section at the bottom of the page to answer these questions. The physical characteristics, the terrain and body of waters of Israel may be divided into 5 features running eastward from the Mediterranean Sea, list the 5 features in the following blank. So you see the Mediterranean Sea, and we're looking east to west, and then north to south as it goes up. So you see the Mediterranean. That's not one of the geographical features because it's water. So what's the first geographical feature? The coastal plain. Coastal plain. So that's number 1. And then what's the second one? Very, very close. Shephelah. Shephelah. And we'll learn about each of these. And as I said, you'll have to watch a video that shows us these things. And then after the Shephelah, you have the Cisjordan Hills. I'll go through what the cis and the trans have to do, but you'll understand. So, Cisjordan Hills. And then after that is the Jordan Valley. That's where the Jordan River is. It goes north to south. What 2 lakes called seas are found there? Now you're going to have to. No, that's not a sea. The Mediterranean Sea is, but it's not a lake. So they're both lakes. Yes. Not the Black Sea. The Dead Sea is one. The Sea of Galilee is the other. So the Dead Sea and the Sea of Galilee.
What river runs north to south?
The Jordan River. The Shephelah is a region of gradually rising hills between the coastal region and the Cisjordan Hills. Israel has 2 ranges of hills, the Cisjordan Hills and the Transjordan Hills. What land region contains most of the cities, including Jerusalem, the city Christ visited during his earthly ministry? So that doesn't tell us this here. So go back to the back. And what we're looking for is what we're looking for is the geographical area. Geographical area. So the Cisjordan Hills. Yep. Yeah, that's a hard one to get. That's one of the reasons why we're doing it together. So the Cisjordan Hills has the most cities. The highest point in Israel is Mount Hermon, which is 9,232 feet in elevation, which isn't a really big mountain to us, but it is a really big one to them. And then, so it's 9,232 feet in elevation. Jerusalem is what? Yeah, this is another reason why we're doing this. So yes, 2,680 feet above. That's why we're doing it together, because it is hard. They don't make it easy. And then just how many miles from Jerusalem to the lowest piece of land on earth at the shore of the Dead Sea? No, you're just off by a little bit.
5,001.
10 miles. 10 miles from Jerusalem. Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. I got it wrong. I'm looking at the wrong one. You're right. You're right. I'm wrong. So Jerusalem is, no, we already did that one. That's the feet above sea level. It's 2,680. And then just 10 miles from Jerusalem is the lowest peak on Earth. And that's the shore of the Dead Sea, which is 1,300, so 1,300 feet below sea level. Now we're going to talk about the climate a little bit. Israel's climate. Everybody got it? Everybody got it? You got it? Okay. Israel's climate is best described as variable. Extreme differences in altitude in such a small country guarantee widely varying temperatures. When snow is falling in Jerusalem, tourists might be basking under the sun in 90-degree temperatures at the Dead Sea. Generally speaking, the country has 2 seasons: warm, dry summers and mild, wet winters. The rainy season lasts from November to March. The average temperature in Jerusalem ranges from 50 degrees in January to 85 degrees in August. Galilee is pleasant in the summers, whereas the Dead Sea is a scorching 100 to 110 degrees during that season. Land divisions. Palestine comprises 3 major areas: Judea, Samaria, and Galilee. Other surrounding areas that Jesus visited his earthly ministry include Decapolis, and Bashan. Widespread ministry. The Gospels mention about 21 cities that Jesus visited or mentioned by name. Study the map to learn the locations of these cities. And then Christ's itinerary, where he went. Following is a list of verses that record parts of Christ's itinerary. Schedule of activities is what that means, itinerary. Read each verse and then try to visualize Christ making the trip by donkey or on foot. Record details about the geography of each place and the mileage involved. Okay, so let's read John 4, 1 through 5. You want to do that for us? Thank you.
Now when Jesus learned that the Pharisees had heard that Jesus was making and baptizing more disciples than John, although Jesus himself did not baptize, but only his disciples, he left Judea and departed again for Galilee. And he had to pass through Samaria. So he came to a town of Samaria called Sychar, near the field that Jacob had given to his son Joseph.
Okay, so he goes from where? Where does he start? Jerusalem. So he starts in Jerusalem. And where's he headed? That's not his. Yeah, he's going to Galilee. So he's going south to north. What is between Judea in the south and Galilee in the north? Samaria. So he goes through Samaria. Now, I'm just going to give you the miles because it's really hard to figure out. So it's about 50 miles from Jerusalem to Galilee. And Galilee isn't a city, so we don't. We'll know when we get there in John 4 where he's going in Galilee, but this doesn't tell us where he's going. And this is the story of the woman at the well in John 4, one of my favorite stories. John 4:43 through 46. Anyone willing to read that? Thank you.
After the 2 days he departed for Galilee, for Jesus himself had testified that a prophet has no honor in his own hometown. So when he came to Galilee, the Galileans welcomed him, having seen all that he had done in Jerusalem at the feast, for they too had gone to the feast. So he came again to Cana in Galilee, where he had made the water wine, and at Capernaum there was an official whose son was ill.
Okay, great. So where does he start out?
Yeah.
He's in Galilee. He's in the north, right? And then where does he? And he well, he started in Samaria because that's where he left off with the woman at the well. So and then he goes to Galilee. What city does he go to? Cana. And then and so that's about 40 miles through hills and some coastal plains. And then John 5:40, 4:54 to 5:1 wants to read that. Where's willing to read that? Might be better. Thank you.
This was now the second sign that Jesus did when he had come from Judea to Galilee. After this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem.
Okay, so so he's in Galilee. It's not any more. It doesn't give us anything really more uh, to get a clue of where he is. Just Galilee. And he's going to Jerusalem, and so that's about 90 miles through coastal plain and hills. About this is.
Where is he going?
4:54 to 5:1, right?
Yeah.
So that's about 90 miles. Remember, it was like 50 miles and 40 miles, and he's going back the other way, but he's going all the way down to Jerusalem. Everybody got that? Okay. Why did the Bible say that Christ went up to Jerusalem when he actually traveled south? Yes. Okay. It was higher in elevation. It was higher in elevation. There's another one, though. There's another reason. No, I'll tell it to you. I'm just letting you write. What? No.
Oh, they thought he was going. It's because it was the opposite. The world was
No, it was the holy city. That's why it was built on a hill, right? And so you are even if you're going from Galilee to Judea, when you go to Jerusalem, you're going north to south. You still go up to Jerusalem. Partly in it, that's because of elevation. It's higher in elevation, but it's also because it's a high holy. It's so holy. They revere it. So both of those things cause people to go up to Jerusalem, no matter where they're coming from. And then John 10:40. Thank you.
He went away again across the Jordan to the place where John had been baptizing at first.
Okay, so he goes back to where he had been before. So where is he coming from? Jerusalem. And where is he going to? Yeah, beyond the Jordan, the other side of the Jordan. And I think it mentions Bethany, but
I'm gonna guess 52 miles.
No.
about 18 miles.
That's
But that's why I do this together with the students, because it just frustrates people. So I don't want you to be frustrated. So so about 18 miles, and through hills and the Jordan Valley. So that walk would have been very hilly, because you have hills and then you go down into the Jordan Valley and you go back up from the Jordan Valley. So that would be quite a hike. You know what? I'm gonna stop there and we'll finish it tomorrow.